Hi, my name is Tarang Chandola. I'm an athlete, serial entrepreneur, and someone who really wants the world to be a better place. I'm really glad to be a part of Sashakt's Carnival, Wellness Carnival, which is aimed towards people living a more optimal life, reducing stress, living in a better environment generally. Keeping that in mind, I'm going to talk about how you guys can possibly live a better life. Most of my life is dedicated towards optimizing the human potential. This is with respect to performance as well as well-being. So I always try to understand how I can be in a better state, how I can reduce stress, how I can perform better. And I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks which can possibly help you live a better life. The first thing I'm going to talk about is nutrition. Nutrition is very, very overcomplicated today in all the different kinds of diets, ketogenic diets, carbogenic diets, carbohydrate based diets, vegan diets. I'm not going to go into all of that. I'm going to tell you some basic essentials that we all should know. If you are currently overweight and you are struggling with basic things like sitting up, standing down, you're diabetic, any of those conditions where you're just not healthy, if you're overweight, I'm not talking for an underweight person. If you are overweight, there are just a few things you want to keep in mind. Two things specifically. One is eat less, two is move more. When I say eat less and move more, I just mean that everyone knows what is good and bad to eat today. You know what are better quality foods. You know you should not be eating processed foods. You know you should not be eating too many carbs. You know you should not be eating too many fats. What you overall know is that everyone needs a base amount of protein intake, a decent amount of fat intake, and a decent amount of carbohydrate intake. How does one gain weight? When you consume more than what your body requires, it starts showing on your body, which reduces performance, which increases inflammation. And what you need to keep in mind instead of what kind of diet I should do is that, okay, today I am overweight. What is primary to me is that I need to eat a little bit less than what I am eating, and I need to burn a little bit more than what I am currently burning. The way I'm going to explain nutrition to you right now is think of your body as the weight you are in currently today, right now. If you are overweight, this is a consequences of the amount of movement you are doing and amount of food you're eating. That means you're overeating and moving less than what you should move. You can either burn more calories or you can eat less calories. The optimal way would be to do both because you want to be able to move. And movement does not mean exercise. It doesn't mean going to a gym. It doesn't mean weightlifting. It just means moving more. It can be a dance class. It can be a walk if you haven't been walking for years. If you've been walking, maybe run. If you've been running, maybe sprint. If you've been sprinting, maybe do some weightlifting. But you just want to move a little bit more than what you are currently moving and eat a little bit less than what you are currently eating. I will emphasize a lot on a little because you do not want to go too fast with anything. Training too much too fast will burn you out. Dieting too much too fast will burn you out, and it will not be sustainable. You want to cater nutrition and training in a way that is substantially, sustainable. It's primarily sustainable, and you can substantially increase it as well. But let's focus on the sustainability aspect of things. Start doing physical activities that you enjoy. It can be a boxing class. It can be learning how to dance. It can be learning something new, and start doing more of that and just start eating a little bit less. When you start doing this continuously for a couple of weeks, you will realize that you're losing weight, you're getting fitter, you're sitting better, you're sleeping better. And that brings me to the next topic, your sleep. If you are not sleeping enough, if you're not resting enough, you're not recovering. If you're not recovering, your overall life quality is really bad. And sleep is something that people struggle a lot with. And for sleep, I've been an insomniac for over 10 years. That means 10 years I was sleeping for 1-2 hours a day and struggling a lot with it. There are a lot of activities I have been doing with respect to my sleep. And I think the past 1 year I've slept the best I have ever slept in my life. The first thing, if you're struggling with sleep, is focus on getting your circadian rhythm right. That means you should be, your body clock should be aligned with what's happening outside. The sun, the moon, the morning, the night, but it's not. We are sleeping at 4 a.m., 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning, and then we wake up pretty late, which is really bad for you. It's completely out of sync from what's happening outside. So you want to ideally get your circadian rhythm back to normal. How can you do this? The best thing I would say is just go out for a month or maybe a week. Just go out to some place a little isolated, maybe in the middle of the forest, maybe to the beach, and spend some time away from your phone. If you go to Himachal, for example, you go to the mountains, you will just fall asleep at 10 o'clock because there's nothing to do. And when you start doing that for 7-8 days, your body starts coming back to the balance of the circadian rhythm. Now I understand a lot of people can't do that. You can't just leave home and say, hey mom, hey dad, or hey buddy, I'm leaving for the mountains. The next best thing you can do is start waking up at 9 a.m. in the morning and getting outside. When I'm saying 9 a.m. in the morning, getting outside, your brain understands that is the morning and your sleep cycle starts coming back to normal. So every day in the morning, 9 a.m., even if you don't wake up at 9 a.m., you wake up at 11 a.m., get up at 9 a.m. and go outside in the sun and expose yourself to light and do something for 5 or 10 minutes. When you start doing that, slowly you realize that you just start feeling sleepy sooner than before. At around 11 o'clock in the night, I want you to not expose yourself to any light at all. My sleep and my understanding of mental state has happened because of Dr. Andrew Huberman, who really teaches how you can sleep better and how you can focus on your mental state a lot better. So you should YouTube him and understand some of his videos so you'll understand why you're doing this. But generally, two things that he has definitely advised people to do, which I am doing as well, is 9 a.m. in the sun and after 11 a.m. do not expose yourself to light. That means no light at all. Now I understand that these things are tough to manage. You're not going to be able to do it every day. Maybe some days at 12 o'clock you get a message or 2 o'clock you get a message and you need to check the message. But that doesn't make it or break it. There's an 80-20 rule that you generally want to follow. You generally want to sleep better. You generally want to see the sun more. You generally want to avoid light after 11 p.m. You generally want to move more and you generally want to eat less. So if you follow that at an 80-20 balance, that most of the times you're taking the better option, you're doing the better thing, you're going to start living a better life. Your overall quality of life improves. So don't worry if, okay, at 11:05, oh shit, light has come, so my sleep cycle is ruined. You just try to move towards a better balance. So we spoke about sleep and restoring sleep. This is the most basic thing you can do with respect to that. Things that I do. So I listen to music, I listen to binaural beats while sleeping. I try to sleep more optimally because my focus is better performance. Now, if you are someone who's an insomniac and you have been clinically diagnosed with insomnia, or even if you're not, I do a lot of hypnosis. So I listen to a lot of people who are doing hypnosis for sleep, and it has helped me a lot. Now, you may choose to not go this route, but again, my mentor in this field would be Dr. Andrew Huberman, who has exposed me to so many beautiful things with respect to how you can optimize your health. So hypnosis is another thing we do for sleep. So I just listen to a track while sleeping. I also meditate, and I know meditation and mindfulness is something that people will take a while to get used to. So I will not get into how to meditate. Probably some other day I'll make a video, or you can check out the videos on my Instagram channel. They'll have this kind of content. But generally, if you can meditate pre-bed, it would be really, really good. Now, if you cannot meditate, or you haven't meditated, or you don't understand, or do not want to go into hypnosis, another thing you can do in the night, 20 minutes before you go to bed, or maybe an hour before you go to bed, get outside, find a ground, preferably grass, and just walk and sit on that ground for some time. This is something known as earthing, which can help reduce inflammation. And it's going to be very complicated to talk in such a short video about earthing, but earthing is something that generally we should all be doing a lot more. Basically, the earth is like a battery, and there's an energy system that's flowing throughout all the time. So the earth is charged up. When you are going outside and walking barefoot on the ground, or just lying down on the ground, you are reducing your body's overall inflammation. If you guys start earthing today, you just try this today before going to bed, maybe an hour before, go outside for 20 minutes. Leave your phone preferably, because you want to be away from technology for a bit. And 20 minutes spent with yourself. You'll feel a lot more mindful, your thoughts will be in a lot more sync, and you will sleep a lot better. This will help your sleep as well as your overall quality of life. So we've spoken a little bit about nutrition and training. We've spoken a little bit about sleep and earthing and how you can sleep better. Now I'm going to come to something that is probably had the biggest impact on my life, which is breathwork. Now breathwork is something that we did not understand till a couple of years back, and that is in sync with what your mental state is. For the longest time, human beings, we believed that our nervous system was not in our control. That means we could not control if we were in a sympathetic state or a parasympathetic state. For those of you who don't understand these terms, the easiest way I can put it is a sympathetic state is your fight or flight, and your parasympathetic is your rest and digest. So you're calm, chill, all those things where you are more in control is more with respect to your parasympathetic state. most of us are more in the sympathetic state right now. We get worked up very fast, we get angry very fast, we are not in control of our thoughts, and we are not in control of our state. And that's not a good place to be in. You want to down-regulate yourself. If you're a person who's fired up all the time, who's angry all the time, who's getting worked up all the time, and you're just in a parasympathetic state, if you're in a state of rage, you want to change that, and you can. You can come into a sympathetic state from that. You can come into a parasympathetic state from that sympathetic state just by changing the way you breathe and a few more things with your vision, with your habits. But I'm going to talk more about breath work. Why? Because it's easy and it's free. You don't have to go to a doctor. You don't have to change anything. All you need to do is breathe. So you're going to try and start breathing in from your nose and breathing out from your nose as well. If you find this very, very hard, breathe in from your nose and breathe out from your mouth. What I primarily want you to focus on anytime you feel stressed or anytime you feel rage or anytime you feel out of control with things, just leave your phone and breathe. Focus on how you breathe. Learn how to breathe into your belly. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. And slow down the pace of your breath. I have done an entire series of breath work on my Instagram page. You can go check it out. It's Brown Boy Aesthetics, which is going to teach you how you can breathe better so that you remain in a better mental state. And if you are in a better mental state, if you are in a parasympathetic state, especially if you are in situations where you are worked up, like COVID or just a normal situation in life where someone just aggravates you and agitates you and you just get angry. If you start incorporating basic things like breath work, you are going to keep coming back into a parasympathetic state and you will keep taking a control of what's happening inside you. You are going to deal with situations better because you're going to be more in control. If you're not an angry person, if you're not a person who has a lot of negative thoughts, if you generally are a positive person, you will generally start living a better quality of life. So I can probably go on and on regarding how you can improve your quality of life, since that is what I primarily do. But these few basic things, if you start incorporating, you will feel a lot better. Focus on your breath work. If you want to understand breath work better, go to my Instagram. It's Brown Boy Aesthetics. Focus on eating less and moving more. That is very, very, very important for those of you who are overweight. Don't get very confused with the different kinds of diets. If you want to study more about nutrition, great. If you want to peak it better, great. But if you are just now overweight and you're struggling with any kind of health disorder, I would just suggest to move more and eat less and focus on your sleep. If you sleep better, you recover better. If you sleep with respect to your circadian rhythm, you are more in sync with what is happening with Mother Nature, with the morning and the night. So focus on your sleep and start earthing. So 4 tips, guys. The first one will be eat less, move more. The second one will be sleep, focus on your sleep. The third one would be earthing, and the fourth one would be breath work. I'm keeping it simple for you guys. If you guys want to know more about this, go check out the Instagram or just research and read a little bit more. A great resource for your breath work, for your sleep would be Dr. Andrew Huberman. I really look up to him, and I think just him existing has improved my quality of life. I hope this video helps you guys and you guys can start focusing on living a more optimal life, a more stress-free life, and generally a healthier, happier life. So keep smiling. Always find positive moments in your life. There's always a silver lining. No matter what situation you guys are going through, there's always a reason to smile. So try and be in that smiling state more, which will be my 5th tip. And that's all for today. I'm going to head out now. Thank you, guys.